Leonardo da Vinci was more than just an artist, he was a scientist, engineer, and innovator. His curiosity, which drove him to explore diverse fields, is reflected in his works and the vast array of inventions and studies he left behind. He didn't merely stop at drawing or painting, but delved into the human body, water, flight, and military engineering, constantly looking to push the boundaries of understanding and creativity. Born in 1452 in Anciano, near Vinci, Italy, Leonardo's early life was somewhat unconventional. He was born out of wedlock to a notary, Ser Piero, and a peasant woman, Caterina. This status, which might have been a disadvantage in some respects, freed him from following in his father's footsteps as a notary, allowing him to explore a more creative and scientific path. Leonardo spent his early childhood with his mother before moving in with his paternal grandparents, and later joined his father in Florence, the cultural heart of the Renaissance. Leonardo's education was also non-traditional. He attended an abacus school, where he learned practical mathematics used in commerce rather than formal Latin studies, which he struggled with throughout his life. Unlike the classical scholars of his time, Leonardo valued experience over book knowledge, dismissing those who mocked him for his lack of formal education. His motto, "I shall rely on a far more worthy thing, on experience," reflected his belief in the importance of observation and hands-on learning, an approach that greatly influenced his art and scientific inquiries. At the age of 14, Leonardo began his artistic training under Andrea del Verrocchio, one of Florence's most renowned artists. This apprenticeship was pivotal, as it exposed Leonardo to the techniques and artistry of sculpture, painting, and anatomy. Under Verrocchio's guidance, Leonardo honed his skills, particularly in rendering human muscles and motion, elements that later became iconic in his masterpieces like The Last Supper. Leonardo's growing talent soon began to outshine his masters. In The Baptism of Christ, a painting produced in Verrocchio's workshop, Leonardo's angel is far more vibrant and dynamic than Verrocchio's. His use of sfumato, a technique of blending colors and tones to create soft transitions, set his work apart. This method gave his paintings a lifelike quality, creating depth and subtlety that were revolutionary at the time. Despite his artistic talents, Leonardo's curiosity extended far beyond the realm of painting. When he moved to Milan in 1482, he sought employment by emphasizing his skills as an engineer, offering his services in designing bridges, military fortifications, and even war machines, rather than solely focusing on his artistic abilities. His letter to Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan, listed his engineering accomplishments, with painting mentioned almost as an afterthought. It was during this time in Milan that Leonardo worked on architectural designs, including a proposal for the dome of Milan's cathedral, and became deeply engrossed in his study of human anatomy. Leonardo's interest in the human body was not just for artistic purposes, he sought to understand it on a scientific level. He dissected around 30 human corpses to produce accurate anatomical drawings, a practice that was revolutionary at the time. His sketches, like his rendering of the human skull, are still admired for their precision and detail. One of his greatest contributions to medical science was his discovery of how blood flowed through the heart and how the heart valves function. Leonardo was also fascinated by human proportion, a curiosity that led to one of his most famous works, the Vitruvian Man. In this drawing, he explored the symmetry of the human body and how it could serve as a model for architecture and engineering. While Leonardo's scientific and engineering pursuits were ahead of his time, many of his inventions remained unbuilt due to the limitations of 15th-century technology. His designs for flying machines, such as the ornithopter and the aerial screw, an early precursor to the helicopter, were incredibly forward-thinking, though impractical at the time. However, some of his innovations had an immediate impact. For instance, his detailed and accurate map of Imola, created during his time as chief military architect for Cesare Borgia, marked a significant advancement in cartography and helped lay the foundation for modern mapmaking. Leonardo's legacy is perhaps most strongly associated with his iconic works of art, particularly The Last Supper and Mona Lisa. The Last Supper, painted on the wall of a Milan monastery, is renowned for its emotional depth and use of linear perspective. Leonardo cleverly directed all the architectural lines in the painting toward the head of Jesus, emphasizing his importance in the scene. Each apostle's gesture and expression reflect their inner thoughts, bringing the moment of Christ's betrayal to life in a way that had never been achieved in religious art before. The Mona Lisa, meanwhile, represents the culmination of Leonardo's artistic mastery. The subtle use of sfumato in her face, the play of light and shadow, and the enigmatic nature of her smile have fascinated viewers for centuries. Her eyes, which seem to follow the observer, reflect Leonardo's deep understanding of visual perception and human emotion. The painting remains one of the most famous and studied works of art in history, symbolizing both the height of the Renaissance and Leonardo's unparalleled genius. Leonardo spent the final years of his life under the patronage of King Francis I of France, who deeply admired him. He passed away in 1519, leaving behind a legacy that spans both art and science. Leonardo's boundless curiosity, innovative spirit, and commitment to understanding the world through observation continue to inspire scholars, artists, and scientists to this day. His ability to merge art with science was unparalleled, and he remains a timeless symbol of the Renaissance man.